Hi guys, this is Ses Fashion. Welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be making this beautiful ruched skirt right here. I'll be teaching you how to draft and also rush the skirt. So stay tuned to the end because it's a very detailed tutorial and you won't want to miss out on anything. Make sure to like and don't forget to subscribe. Let's get right into it. So guys, this skirt is actually a very long skirt which is going to be rushed in to make it the ankle length. So what I'm going to do is, this is my fabric. This is the maximum length of the fabric and it's by 60. So what I'm going to do, I am not going to be cutting out of this 60. I am going to be using the maximum length to cut out the skirt, so that by the time we ruch it with our elastic thread, it becomes shorter. You ruch it to the length you want it to be. So how wide I'm going to be folding this is going to be determined by the hip measurement, and the hip I'm using is 44 inches divided by 4 is 11. So I'm going to be adding 1 inch to that 11 inches, making it 12. So I am going to be folding my fabric by 12. So right here, I'm going ahead to fold my fabric, making sure I have 12 here. So don't mind that you cannot see the down. I'm just going to be explaining that my table is not wide enough to accommodate everything. Okay guys, after folding that out, we're going to be drafting our skirt pattern, and to do that we're going to be rolling out a line here which will serve as our waist line. So this is just a guide. This is our waistline. So from this waistline, we'll be marking our vertical measurement, and the vertical measurements we'll be marking is the waist to hip and the waist to knee. So first of all, we'll be marking the waist to hip, which is 9 inches. Okay, but then we're not going to be marking it at this 9 inches. What we're going to do is we're going to be multiplying that 9 inches by 2, so that by the time you use your elastic to ruch it, it becomes 9 inches. You understand? So you have to make it longer than the usual length, so that you use the elastic to give it that ruch effect to go back to its usual point. So instead of marking 9 inches, we're going to be multiplying 9 inches by 2, which gives us 18 inches. So I'm going to mark that down here. So guys, the next thing, we're going to be marking the knee point. And to get the knee from the hip, our usual knee length is 18, and a usual hip length is 9. So 18 minus 9 gives 9. So the distance from the hip to the knee is 9 inches. We're also going to be multiplying that by 2, which gives 18 inches. So after marking 18 here, we're going to add that 18 inches now that we've multiplied. That's the distance from the hip to the knee. We're going to add it to this 18 inches, giving it 36 inches. So now the distance from the waist to the knee is 36 inches. I hope this is clear. So basically, we're just multiplying all our vertical measurements by 2. So by the time we use the elastic and draw it and ruch it, we're going to have the initial measurement back in place. So don't get confused. That is the aim of what we are doing here. So after marking all these points, I am going to be ruling out a line across. So this is my hip line, my new hip line, and this is my new knee points. Okay, so after marking these points out, the next thing I'm going to be inserting the horizontal measurement, which is my round waist, my round knee, and my round hip. So my waist measurement, the waist I have here is 32 inches. So 32 divided by 4 gives 8, and I'm going to be adding 1 inch for sewing allowance. So making it 9 inches. I'm going to mark that here. Going over to the hip line, I'm going to be dividing my hip measurement into 4, and the hip I'm using is 44 divided by 4 is 11 plus 1 inch sewing allowance, making it 12. So I'm going to be marking that here. So I'm just going to, from this 12 inch, I'm going in by 2 inches to mark on the knee point. So 12 minus 2 gives 10 inches. So I'm going to be marking 10 inches on my knee point. Okay, so after doing that, I'm going to be connecting all my dots together. Okay, so this is the hip to waist. Okay, and then the hip to knee. Okay, so the remaining part of the skirt, we're just going to be marking a straight 10 inch that we have on our knee all through to the hem. So since that part is not visible on the camera, I'm just going to be cutting this part that is visible so that I can draw it up for you to see what I have done. So I'll be cutting it out at this point. You can see what we have. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm just going to be folding this part up so that I don't get my folding squeeze. So I'm drawing this up. So this is the hem. I'm just going to mark 10 inches all the way down to the hem. Okay, so after marking that, I'm going to be cutting out. And I'm also going to be cutting out these rough edges. Okay, so this is our skirt pattern. This is the front skirt. You can see how long this is. Like I'm folding this into two, and you can still see how long it is. So the next thing, I'm going to be cutting the back pattern. So I'm going to place this aside and fold my fabric for the back skirt pattern. So what I'm going to do is, for the back part, I'm going to be leaving the zipper allowance. So the initial width we used to cut the front was 12 inches. To fold the front was 12 inches. I'll be adding 1.5 inch to this particular one so that we can use that for the zipper allowance. Okay, so after folding this out, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm also going to be rolling out a line here which will serve as our waistline. Okay, so after doing that, I'll be marking the zipper allowance, which I said is 1.5 inch. So I'm going to be marking that here all the way to the hem. Okay, so after I'm done doing that, I'm going to bring my front. So there's no need drafting another one again. I'm just going to bring my front pattern and I'm going to place it on top of the back pattern, making sure everything aligns properly. Okay, so I'm going to be placing it after the 1.5 inch allowance we left for the zipper, and I'm going to be putting the up on this waistline. Okay, hope you can see this clearly. I'm just going ahead to make sure that everything is aligned. So after I'm done placing that, I'm going to be cutting exactly the same thing for the back. Okay, so I'm also going to be opening up this zipper allowance point so that it will be inserting our zip here. Okay, just so I don't lose my measurement, I'm going to be folding this and pulling up while cutting. Okay guys, I'm done. Now we have our front and our back skirt pattern cut out. We'll take this to our machine to sew. So guys, I've gone ahead and I've joined the sides of my skirt. As you can see, this is the front attached to the back. This is my sewing allowance. I used the 1-inch allowance we left while drafting to sew this up, and I did the sewing from the waist all through to the hem. You can see how long this is. So the next thing I am going to do, I went ahead and I cut elastic. This is the elastic I cut. I cut it as long as the length I would want it to be. So I went ahead to cut 2 of these. I'll be fixing one on the left and one on the right. I also went ahead to cut out my waistband. Is very long. Is I made it so long to accommodate my waist and some inches for allowance. You know, we're going to be fixing zipper on the skirt. So I'm going ahead to attach the elastic on the sides, and also I'll attach the waist, and then we'll come back and finish it up. So guys, to begin sewing, we'll first of all hem it down so that it's going to be neatly finished before we go ahead to fix the elastic. So as you can see, for me, I went ahead to interlock it, and I'll be folding it just once. But if you don't have an interlocking machine, you can just hem it the usual hemming, that is folding into 2. So right now I'm going to sew with 1/2 inch folding. The next thing I am going to do, I'm going to be fixing the waistband to this waist point before going ahead to fix the elastic. And I'm going to bring my waistband and place it on the right side like this, and I'm going to be sewing with 1/2 inch. So guys, you can see I'm done fixing the elastic. You can see how nicely finished this is. I went ahead to interlock it. See how beautiful it looks. So the next thing, I'm going to be inserting my elastic band, And right here I'm using the 1/2 inch elastic band, and to attach this I'm just coming here just after the waistband, and I'm going to be placing my elastic on the seam line. This is the seam line, so I'm going to be placing my elastic just after the waistband like this. So this is how I'm going to be sewing the elastic. Or first of all, back stitch to hold it in place, and then to sew I'm going to pull it, like I'm going to pull double sides, like elastic I'm going to make it double of the actual length, like this, like this. I'll pull it to the double length. You can just imagine, you don't have to measure that, you can just imagine the double length in your head, and then you're going to be sewing on the seam line which you have sewn the skirt. So watch how I sew. So guys, you can see the effects here. You can see how if I turn it to the good side, you can see it's already giving that ruched effect. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to do this all through to the hem of the skirt. So let's continue. So guys, when you get towards the end, you know I still have like excess elastic and my skirt is just remaining little. You don't have to pull so hard, you're just going to pull a little. Okay, you can see I have excess elastic here. I'm just going to cut this off. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm just going to do the same thing for the left side. This is what one side of my skirt looks like. You can see how beautiful this looks, and I'll do the same thing for the other side, and I will show you guys the results. So guys, I wanted to explain something. I went ahead to fix elastic at the back so that the back and the front can align properly. And to do that, the easiest way to know where you're going to be fixing the elastic, because I also fixed a slit so that my client can walk properly even while putting on the skirt. So to know how long you're going to fix your elastic, as you can see, it didn't start from the waist. I actually inserted a zipper at about 8 inches from the waistband. So the zipper stopped at 8 inches from the waistband, and then the elastic started all the way to the slit. And to know how long you're going to fix your elastic, you first of all mark from the hem. You're going to mark about 24 to 25 inches to create your slit. So you're just going to measure from the hem of your skirt 24 to 25 inches, or even 23. Like mine here is 23. That's because this skirt is not all the way to the ground, it's just the ankle length, so I use 23. But if your skirt is longer than what I have, you can decide to use 24 or 25, and that's perfect. So after marking 25 inches from the hem and subtracting 8 inches from the waistband all the way to the zip point, what's left is going to be rushed in with elastic. So in between, you're just going to rush that part just the normal way I taught how to fix elastic. You pull your elastic to fit in. It does not really matter, it does not have any actual measurement. You will just draw your elastic at double size, and then you will get this beautiful ruch I have here. So guys, this is the end result of our skirt. So now we've come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you so much guys for watching this far. I would like to know if you'll be trying this out and how yours turns out. And if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, feel free to drop it in the description box. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.